Evening and welcome back to the Mindful Model Makers workshop. I'm working on this little Hudson Loco, which is a Phil Sharples, costing £38, I think it was. It's a really good thing. I've been looking around at what other people have done to this Loco. But I don't want to just do it straight out of the box. You can do that if you want to. I just want to kind of add lots of little bits and pieces to it just to make it a little bit more interesting. So it's a really good standard thing to start with. Anyone that's seen earlier videos, they've seen me working with the Loco remote system, which is what's going to go in this, and the small battery that will fit underneath the desk inside there. That's what will happen eventually. But what I'm doing at the moment is changing the body. If you go on the Loco remote side, there is a gallery on there. Phil Sharples has got various bits and pieces on YouTube. You can go on there and see his Locos where they've been really weathered and loads of bits added. It totally takes on a totally different looking Loco. It's worth having a look at them if you're going to have a go at this. If you're just a beginner and you want to just build the basic, just build that. As you know, I've been doing this for a long time now, and I've accrued so many bits and pieces from other stuff, and I don't throw things away. When you get a lot of this laser cut stuff, you get bits that push out. This is a piece actually that's come off of something. I've got no idea what it was, but I think it was the inside of something, and you just push it out. But that will later on be attached to that to make like a plate on the back of the Loco. It just adds lots of little detail. So what we're going to do today is I'm just going to add or show you what I've done to add a few bits just to kind of liven it up. Now, as you know, we did on the last video, we did the rivets. So both sides of that are now complete and awaiting fitting. I haven't got around to that yet because I'm not quite sure about one or two bits that I'm doing, so I leave it till the last minute. But I think you can agree that they look quite nice now. And we discussed about the Diamante bits that we use for the rivets. Since then, I've been on to the diamantecrafts.com website, and I've ordered 4 packs, and within a couple of days I got delivered 4 packs. So I've now got, I think there's 280 something like that on each card. So I think I've got enough rivets to be going on with. But I like to have them because if I suddenly get an idea, I want to be able to pursue it straight away. Anyway, so one of the Locos on the website shows the back, because this should fit on here. I'll just show you how it should go. I think it's quite self-explanatory. So that's on there like that, and then that slots on there, and then that makes the back. Now obviously I'm going to have a battery under the desk inside there, so it's not going to be quite so easy, but also just to make it look a bit different. So what I've done, very simple, I've cut that bit off. All I did was put a set square along there like so to get it level with the opening on the doorway. And then I just got a little junior hacksaw, just very gently sawed along, squared it up a little bit with a piece of sandpaper, and that's it. Now this piece I will keep. I don't know what for yet, but I just hold on to that because it may come in handy for something else that I'm building. Then the next bit, I got this, and then what I did, I put this on top of a piece of card. It's about 2mm thick, this card. So all I did was put that on, like so, like that, and drew round, and then I measured in old money about 1/8 of an inch all the way round, and then I cut that piece out to make a frame as such. All right, so this is all quite easy stuff. It's nothing really technical. If you haven't done it before, just take your time. Right, now what that will do is glue onto there. Then when I've glued that on, I shall then put rivets all the way round on that. And then when that sticks on the back, so well, what I'll actually do is do some of this. I know a lot of times I just talk about it and you don't always see it done. This time we'll go for doing a little bit and putting it on. So we'll see if the glue's going to come out, which it probably won't. So there we are. Shows I didn't prepare that very well, didn't it? But there you are. This is real life. So when you don't use the glue for a little while, this is what tends to happen. And then you'll find it shoots out all over the place. But right, okay, nothing's coming out of that at all at the moment. So it's been some time since I've used this, but anyway. Let's just get that out of there like so. Get it off the end of the tweezers. Right, let's see now if any of that's going to pour out of there, which I don't think it is, so that's that. What I might do is go for another means of doing this, which is take that off, get my trusty old scriber, which is used for everything, stirring, paint, whatever. So I'll dip that in like so, and I'll just go around this and put that on the card. This is the Rocket card glue. This is very good stuff. I think it will stick to wood all right. It's basically the equivalent to a super glue for card. It's quite some potent stuff actually, because when I was building the Scale Scenes diesel depot, if you haven't varnished it, you'll find it will take the colour out. So it's very important that you varnish it before you put this on, because it's quite strong. I mean, you want it to do its job. Right, so we've got some glue on there, and we'll put that somewhere on a piece of loo roll there. So next we want to put this on to there. Now I've marked a cross on this, and it's just to find the centre, and that is purely for when I put the next piece on, I will know that I've got it in the right place. Right, so I think we've got this about right now. So that's gluing on there like so. That's gluing on there. Just get it into position. Squeeze it tightly. If it overlaps, make it overlap a little bit at the bottom, because then you can put it down on your cutting mat and you can just level it up, because you do need it to be right at the bottom for when it sits back on. So right, so that's going off quite quickly now. So the idea is you can place that down like so, press it down hard, and then I get my trusty Stanley knife, and then I will just trim that so that it is exactly where I want it there, which it is. Press that down as hard as I can there and cut straight through like so. That's it. There we are. Don't forget this is all going to be sprayed. If it just overlaps a little bit there, just take it down with a little bit of sandpaper. Right, so now that bit will glue onto there like so. If you can see that all right, because obviously this will be sprayed and it will be riveted. Now this is the piece, like I say, I've got a few scraps here, I'll just show you. It's like that piece of card that I've cut out of the middle of that. I will keep that for something else. All those little bits are very handy, save you cutting up whole bits of card. I'll get some bits here. These are all bits that have come off of various laser cut models. It's like these were bits, they're quite thick, but you may need them for something. You know, you might want to make a panel or whatever. And they're all square. They're all dead square because they're all cut out by laser. So they're good things. I never throw them away. It's like that. Small piece there, you could put that on to something or whatever. It's all bits there. You can cut along them lines there, and you've got a nice thin strip, or if you want a wider strip that's already made, square that off, bring that off, and then you've got a square bit there. So this laser cut wood is quite nice. There's a square one there, so you might need that as perhaps a blanking plate for something. It's already made. All you've got to do is glue it on. So anyway, this is what we've done on there, and the next bit I'm going to do is again get my trusty scriber. This is the very old scriber actually, which I had when I was an engineer, and I've just, well, over the years it's used. It's usually used for opening little paint pots, the Humbrol ones, and stirring the paint. That's what it tends to be used for. Right, so there's a bit of glue on there, and I've always got a piece of loo roll. I always use loo roll, don't know why, because I use that to clean the brushes, wipe the paint off. So I've put lines on, so all I've got to theoretically do is line up 4 lines with the lines that are on there, like so. And then that will go on the back like this. I'm not going to glue any of this because I want to work inside. I want to paint up inside, and I want to make a little pull-out section because that's going to house the battery. So what I will do with this at the moment is to make this safe again by putting the lid on it. I'll put that back on. I think a bit of a waste of time because I think what's happened, the tube is blocked up. Anyway, there's still some in there left. There's another piece of wood that's come out of something, so again you could use that. So that's roughly that. So what I'm going to do now is mark it out, and when I marked it out I will then stick some rivets around that. Then I will take that away and spray it. If you want to, on the top you could put another piece of card a bit wider across the top, just to thicken it up, because it's making the loco look more realistic. I mean, it's quite thick anyway. The other thing I do, where I've had previous kits, I found this. So what I plan to do is probably, when I've built the bits inside, probably glue that in. Glue that in there somewhere so that it's got a control that's there. Might just cut that bit off the bottom there. Yeah, so inside the loco you will have the control. Likewise, the other day I showed you jerry cans. This was off another model, a garage model that I built years and years ago. So I've got a couple of them, so they will probably stand on the footplate there, and various other bits. I've got some louvers at home, at my other house, a mould that I made for louvers, so I might make some louvers to go on there for aeration for that. So lots of little bits, and what I'll do is each bit that I do I'll show you, so it gives you an idea if you want to do something similar. I mean, you can do exactly what you want on there. Right, so all I do is get a ruler, and like I say, I still use a lot of imperial. What I tend to do when I do use metric, I might use metric if the lines line up better. So, you know, if 5mm looks better, then I'll use 5mm. If 1/8 of an inch looks better, I'll use that. All right. It might not make sense to a lot of people, but from my generation, a lot of us use that kind of thing. So roughly, I'm just going to mark on there. They're actually 10, so we'll go there. I'm just going to go in a little bit like so. So go in a tad there, then go there, then go there, so go there, And you can even these out when you put them on. This is just a guide. So I'm just marking out a few of these. I'm not just going to bore you to death by putting these all the way up, but that's that. Right, tweezers, which I had here a few seconds ago, like so. Get these brilliant little things, put them there, pick one off and put it there. So roughly in the middle of that. I'm not going to go around the whole thing because if that will be a little bit like watching paint dry, but slightly different spacing on this bit because it's the other bit is probably more over engineered because it's got to take a little bit more weight. This is just basically on the bodywork, so I think the spacing for this is somewhere about there. I think should be about right. See, once the paint gets on these, because they're self-adhesive, once they're really pushed in and the paint's on there, then they stay in place, they don't come off. Because sometimes if you don't watch what you're doing, you'll find they move about. So this is what we're doing on here. Right, so it's very simple. All you got to do is all I do is I look at pictures of things that other people have done, and you know, necessarily copy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with copying, but with a lot of these little narrow gauge locos, they were very over engineered. One of the main things was because they needed weight. That's what they needed to get traction, because the thing is, when you've got steel on steel wheels, there's only one way you'll overcome moving along, and that is by having the loco heavy. Because if the load is heavier than the loco, which it was in a lot of these situations, it's very difficult to get it moving. And then what you can do to counteract that is a lot of locos had sandboxes, and you put sand on. When I worked on the railway, and we had a train that was leaving somewhere, and it was always slipping because it was uphill out of this place, and they didn't have that many trains, so the rails used to get a little bit rusty. I filled up my tea can with sand and literally walked along the side and put sand on top of the rail, because then it gives it some grip. Right, so this is where we are now on this next bit. Okay, we've now started putting rivets. So for a little bit of card round there, when that's painted, there will be rivets going around that inner line on that oval bit there, and it's just some kind of a blanking plate. It doesn't actually have to, because on a lot of these locos you will find they will have panels and various bits and pieces you can put. If you've got two of them and you put one either side, you could put that on, then put the number on it, whatever it is you want to do. They are a license to really make something and make it yours, so that you know, someone says, oh, that looks good. So this model actually lends itself to lots of things. So that's all I'm going to do for today. Now, one thing about this is actually my 300th video today. So I've been going just under a year, and this is my 300th video. So I hope you find it useful. Anyway, all right, some of it I do waffle on a bit, I know, but and I don't edit anything, so if something goes wrong, you see it firsthand. But the way I fit is because when you are modelling, things do go wrong. Not everything goes perfect. So I just like to show it as it is, because that is how it is. Now, the next thing I'll probably do is scribe a line down there and there once I've put these on, because obviously there will be rivets that will be in there from inside going down there and going down there, and the same on the front to hold them on. So then again, that's added more interest down there as well. So yeah, just have a look at a few of these. There's so many things. You can go to Google Images and type in narrow gauge locos, and I mean, narrow gauge locos, it allows you really to have a free license to make something, because there'd be something very similar to it. Like I say, that's what I'm doing on the back of there. So it's changed the look of that already. And I may actually put another piece on top there just to thicken it up a little bit more. You know, just gives it that feeling. And underneath, I will eventually put some weight on, because it's quite a light loco. So with weight, you need weight so that it can pull. I tend to use these weights, which are what are used on car tyres, and they're self-adhesive, so they will probably go underneath. You put them underneath near the wheels, and then the weight is directly in that area. You've got to be careful, because if you put too much weight, you'll kind of strain it, but you need enough that it's going to grip. I mean, this is only going to pull 2 or 3 little wagons without too much of a load in, because that's all these little locos did. Where you see a lot of these things on these Welsh railways pulling quite a few coaches full of passengers, they never did anything like that. They would have pulled slate mainly, or coal, and a few wagons, and a lot of time only one man on the footplate as well. That's why some of the footplates very small, because there'd only be one man in there. You wouldn't have a driver and a fireman like you see on most of them now, because the whole thing's totally different. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Please like if you do, and subscribe, and then you can see you know, the rest of this build until this loco is finished. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Bye for now.